So, Helen, what I wanted to sort of start our chat about was how you as a creative leader and in academia can see the big picture where creativity can perhaps address some of the world's challenges like climate change and so what's your opinion on that?
It's a good question. Well, obviously I'm head of School of Arts here at York St John University. I'm a musician by trade, but I've also led and supported different charities to work with communities. So for me, creativity, which you've given an excellent example of, is about solving a problem. So what you've done is take a design concept. You identified a problem that when refugees arrive in York and come to York St John University, they didn't have the language to communicate. You identified the problem, but then you thought, what's the solution? And rather than thinking, we need other people to give the solution, you asked what you could do. That's the design concept. What can I do to fix a problem through being creative? And you identified, and I think your words were creative pointing. It was universal pointing to communicate. Which sounds funny, but actually it's the bare truth. So you've got right to that bare truth, the foundation. So how do you then systematise universal pointing to say I'm hot or to say I'm teaching? And what you've done is codify it. And you've codified it in 3 levels, and it looks simple. It's structured to enable somebody and to facilitate somebody in that dialogue. So what we do here at York St John in Arts, and what I've always done in my career, is to look at how we can use creativity of people's ideas through arts to enable and facilitate others to fix a problem. And as our Vice-Chancellor said in dialogue with you, it's about giving an opportunity to a student, but that opportunity is that you can make something new for your career, for industry, for charity, whatever it is, and you go out in the community, and through that opportunity and through your leadership, because you've led on this, it's your leadership, you are enabling and facilitating others. I would say I might lead the school, but what I've done is facilitate and said, what do you need? What don't you know? How can I give you the contacts, the network, the support, or just listen and say, have you thought about? So most of our conversations I've been saying, how have you done it? Why have you done it? What context do you need? What have you thought about? What next? So questions. But I think to go back to the core of your question, creativity is vital for our future. When we've got AI developing that learns from what it hears and it has the capacity to repeat, to paraphrase and to bring together, it doesn't automatically now at this stage have the ability for creative, unique thought. And that is where an art school brings that creative thought for problem solving to then work in collaboration with others and other subjects to fix the problems.
So Heather did the illustrations for these, and we worked really closely on it. From a academic leadership point of view and your experience in teaching, what Heather's created is really significant. What do you think these are saying to people when they first look at them?
That's a really good question. I think it's very clear, Richard, that you've communicated to Heather really well your core message for Global-Anthem. And Heather, you've obviously translated that to then give a pictorial
with a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, exactly. But as your T-shirt shows, it's very clear what it is, and we can see the gestures really clearly. I mean, I'm biased already because I use the gestural language to improvise through music, dance and drama. So to be able to say you, or to be able to say your heart, it's a quick way in a loud environment or a creative environment or theatre to speak. So I identify with this quickly anyway. But I think this is a gap, isn't it? When someone comes into any country as a refugee without the language, there's a massive move from that and being able to get food and medical care to starting a formal language course. What you're doing is filling the gap that nobody else has done. So to be able to do that, and for you to have leadership and to facilitate others to get to this is really important, because as a leader in a creative field, you've got an idea, but you need a graphic designer who understands people. You need camera crews, lighting, etc., to capture that. This is what creativity is about. It's the dialogue to transfer what you want and what you need and why you need it to other people, and that's part of the creative design. So I think what you've done here, Heather's really, really is clear, but also the colour coding means that we all can identify a journey and a progression. We can see levels and stages. I think because it's non-gendered, it's non-specific, it's as universal as it possibly could be, I think that is a massive, massive positive reach of this method, because we want this to grow and to be able to go anywhere where there is need such as this, and it not just to stay here. So I think you've done an amazing thing by looking at what is universality, how can we utilise that in the broad range. Do you see that in your own designs? Because I'm saying that to you. Did you approach it that way, or did you approach it in some other way?
I think a lot of it was trial and error, definitely. He came to me with an idea and I drew it out, and he basically told me that no, it was too neat. It needed to be more man-made. It needed to be somebody who's drawn it, not looking like it's a computer.
So more gesture, the human.
So I found myself rubbing bits out and filling it in to make it look wobbly, because as an artist it's quite hard not to be perfect with your work.
Yeah.
I remember saying to you, I need them to look, because I'd done them and they were just really simple line drawings, weren't they? And I remember saying to you, I need them to look like the person that whoever's drawn them loves the person who's seen them. They need to feel like they're loved and cared for.
Yeah.
And you absolutely nailed it. Yeah. So me and Heather were in a lot, and Heather hasn't been a student here, but I know that she's part of it. So from your perspective, Heather, as a non-student, what do you think, now you've seen how it's progressed, Helen's and the videos and everything that we've done, what do you think it's brought to it?
I think it's encouraged us to keep going with it, really, because at the start it was definitely just a bit of a stupid idea, if I must say.
Yeah.
We never ever thought that it was actually going to
No.
take off and become something.
Yeah.
And to have it sat there in paper and on the t-shirt is incredible, really.
Yeah.
Never once thought that we'd ever get to somewhere like this with a couple of drawings.
And that's the joy of art and creative practice, both if you as a designer and an artist. The joy of that is to see it produced and see it do something. In art and creativity, we want a reaction, we want a response. And this response is that we're helping. You've done a lot to help people through this, and the fact that's been identified as well is just amazing through the Ingenuity Awards.
Yeah, and through the sort of, now it's at the start of something big and significant. At times that seems a bit overwhelming, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah.
Yeah, we're both a little
Oops,
bit.
this is actually real.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know, yeah. Oops, this is actually real. I think that's, yeah.
Well, this is where you've got the support now to make it into a business. And as we were saying, you come to university to study and give yourself an opportunity. You've had support with that. Now you've got support to take your creative idea with the business and with the entrepreneurship. But also you're thinking about continuing your research as an MA to think about the communication, the media side, the production of this. So let me give you a question back, if you don't mind. What's the next step for you?
For me, so the first thing is Global-Anthem has to work. Yeah, that is, you know, we spoke a lot about this, haven't we? And it has to work.
So what does success look like for it working? What does that look like?
It means that the packs get out free of charge into sport workers' hands. And it's not dependent on, it's like we've been approached by UNHCR, NATO. It's not dependent on how much money you've got. It's dependent on the need. For me personally, as you know, we've talked about it, I believe that there's a lot more work, and this partnership that we've developed with the Ukrainian University and yourself, I think there's a lot more work, there's more to this story. And
there's
I think
more opportunities as a student, as a researcher, as a designer, and for the project of Global-Anthem, isn't there?
Yeah.
And you've got a support team as well that can see it.
Yeah. And what we're now starting to put together is a leadership team. And because that's what's needed. You know, I can do what I can do, Heather can do what Heather can do, Dana can do what she can do. We need to start building a leadership team.
Networking, facilitating others to achieve the same aim, exactly.
But just final question for you. When we did the videos, and you were there for all of them, I can remember your face was beaming as much as mine was when we came out of them. You've watched this journey since, what, December?
I met you on the last week in October.
Yeah,
And I'd just been at the university for 3 weeks at
Yeah.
that point, new in post.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you came back for
Dumped
coffee
all this on you.
at the beginning of December and spoke through it, and I said, wow, there's something here,
Yeah.
but what do you want to do with it? And you said, give me a month and I'll show you.
Yeah,
That's what you actually said, and you
yeah,
dived out of the office and dived back in again with everything.
yeah,
Yeah. So the videos that Richard's mentioned are the videos you did to the Ingenuity Award to pitch
Yeah.
the creative design idea,
Yeah.
but also to pitch what help you needed. And the
Yeah.
important thing that I heard in the videos was how important this is. But when you got to the end, you said, I need help. And I thought that's the best thing you could have said, because
Need
all
help.
creative artists, all designers, when you've got an idea that's out there in the world, we all need help for the entrepreneurship, the business, for the networking and for the finance.
And I think there's a final, just to fill up that, although the Vice-Chancellor, yourself, took a lot of help, this whole project wouldn't happen without the techs. I know that they're sat there filming this, the media techs, the design techs, help me print it. You know, the techs are absolutely the unsung heroes of this.
And that's why it's great being in the university, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we've had the design department and the production department come
Yeah.
together with the technical team from both sides and the academics. So during your film you had the auto cue with an academic on
Yeah.
it, you had an academic shouting the slides while there was cutting, we had 2 techs producing the different cameras and the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
I think the room had 9 people in
Yeah.
it just to run that as though it was a BBC
Very
news
well.
show to get the details. And I think
Yeah.
that's what is one of the reasons I'm here. It's what York St John
Yeah.
does well, collaboration and making
Yeah.
sure that the student opportunity is as polished and as professional as it
Yeah.
can be. So I'm really proud of what you've done and proud that you've got through the degree, and hoping you'll continue this,
Yeah.
not just as the business, that's going to be great, continue it for what the outcome is, but continue it for your personal
Yeah.
research, creative growth with the opportunity of what next.
Yeah, definitely. Right, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for talking to me.
Pleasure. Good luck, both of you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, guys.
Done?
Yeah.